Hello everyone, this is Jeremy Hooper. Today I'll be discussing what I learned in each module of Research 665 as it applies to our final project. Then I'll also talk about any real-world takeaways that I can apply to my career in the aviation industry. 8 weeks ago might seem like an eternity, and it certainly is as far as my understanding of statistics is concerned. Module 1 started with a basic discussion about research design and what is meant by independent, dependent, and control variables. My paper about flight instructor evaluation and their correlation with flight training accident rates was a non-experimental and post hoc in nature. So I wasn't manipulating any variables, but it was important to understand which was which so I could organize my statistical test around what exactly phenomenon I was trying to predict. That is to say, if performance on FAA tests had a potential relationship with accident rates, then perhaps working to improve flight instructor preparedness for those exams could help reduce the rate of accidents. Module 2 took a look at central tendency, measures of variability like standard deviations, and normal distributions. Central tendency was a basic review of concepts we learned in junior high school, but this, along with variance, was fundamental to understanding the rest of the concepts in the course. Learning variance helped me better understand the calculations involved in determining how multiple sets of data can be related to each other when performing the various tasks introduced in later modules. Module 3 introduced correlation coefficients and linear regression. We built scatter plots of data to visually see relationships on a graph, and then supported those relationships with calculations of a least square regressions line. This concept was pivotal as it formed the basis for the testing I used on my project to check the relationship between flight instructor testing and accident rates. Module 4 introduced the all-important p's less than 0.05 and the concept of significance levels. I still have dreams when I go to bed at night of being able to reject the null hypothesis if I'm able to state that there's less than a certain probability that my comparative data set is a mere result of chance. This is also when we first learned about the 5-step hypothesis testing process. Module 5 was about t-tests for independent means and paired t-tests. These powerful tests can help determine if a treatment had an impact on a sample representative of a larger population, or if the mean between two samples of data are different from each other. I only used the t-test at the beginning of my paper to help explain that flight training accidents occurred at a lower rate than in general aviation as a whole, but otherwise it was not used to answer my formal research question. Module 6 was about the analysis of variation, or ANOVA. I did not specifically use ANOVA during my project hypothesis testing, but learning about the F distribution and how to read an ANOVA test helped me with my literature review and understanding what previous researchers found in my study area. This module also helped develop my understanding of degrees of freedom and how to develop a hypothesis. Module 7 was about my favorite statistical test that we learned about in this course, the chi-square. Chi-square is found in all kinds of research papers related to my study and is extremely useful for determining relationships among categorical variables. Had we selected our topic and dataset after learning about the chi-square, I would have definitely built my project around it as the test of choice. I almost did a chi-square for my project anyway, just for fun, but my paper was already long enough as it is, and the test I wanted to do wasn't related a whole lot to my research question. Module 8 was all about sample size, power, and ensuring the test I selected is valid given the assumptions built into the test and the data I have to work with. Assumptions became the Achilles heel of my study. Starting over with a better understanding of what was presented in week 8 would most certainly have impacted how I approached the project and what kinds of data I should have been looking for. Here we are finally on week 9. I'll use this slide to talk about what I learned that can be applied to my career field. I hope to get more involved in my airline safety department since I'm currently an observer for our Line Operations Safety Audit, or LOSA program. This program is 100% data-driven, and the results drive real changes to operating procedures that help make our airlines safer. As an Air Force reservist, I frequently get to listen to anecdotal commentary about the changes we experience and whether or not they have positive or negative impacts. This course has equipped me with simple statistical testing tools that can be used to make more data-driven decisions based on facts rather than on drama. Just as important, I now feel much better equipped to understand scholarly research papers of all types that I may be interested in for a variety of purposes later in life. Folks, it's been a pleasure taking Research 665 with all of you at Embry-Riddle Worldwide, and I wish you all the best of success in the future.